Hi everybody, this is the first time that we have had a Michael's trailer, and it's just a very cool looking trailer. You can see if you can see it behind me. Isn't that cool? It is such a cool trailer. And we just got Bella washed. We are in Laredo, about to head out. I'm just stoked because it's such a cool trailer. And Bella looks so good. She's all clean and pretty. It's switch time. Jay is up getting ready. He already bounced on the Bellicon. I am doing this quick video to tell you that when we first heard about the Conway merger with XPO, it was like, hostile takeover, what's happening? Last week, I think it was Tuesday, could have been Monday, it came out over the Qualcomm that this was going to happen, and we're like, what? The next part of this video will show you a conversation that Jay and I had yesterday, and it answers some of the questions that have come up on the channel. So have a listen. In the meantime, I'm going to go prepare for bed. And just one more time, let's look at this very cool trailer. It's so artsy fartsy, right up my alley. I like bohemian. Yeah, I do. Okay.
Yeah. We will. And thank you again, Richard, for the call. Bye-bye.
Oh.
I just got off the phone with
Richard, who we met
Richard Farmer. We met this time last year when we were broke down
in Savannah.
in Port Wentworth, Georgia,
Right.
just outside of Savannah.
Yeah.
We were in a hotel there for a little while.
Yeah.
And then we got the truck and found out something was wrong. We had to go back the next day. They were closed when we got back. Remember?
Right.
And they couldn't do anything till the morning. So we went to the truck stop. And we parked next to this, it was an expediter truck. It was XPO Express. And I got talking to him. It was Richard Farmer, Anthony Richard Farmer. And we just hung out for like a couple hours talking. He invited us in to see his custom cab.
I posted a video about that.
Yeah, you did. And so we exchanged numbers, and we've talked a couple times since. And this week on the Qualcomm, we're getting messages about this merger.
Alert.
Yeah, Conway merger with XPO Express.
Richard called.
Yeah, he called me back.
We're kind of concerned about this.
Yeah, because we have no idea what to expect. We love Conway.
Yep.
And Conway's been such a great experience for us.
Okay.
We've developed relationships with a lot of wonderful people, and we love the whole experience for us.
Yeah.
I mean, there have been problems, and we started talking to people, asking questions, and got directed where to go, who to talk to, and
Every company has problems.
and in every
But
case,
it's how it's handled.
we were welcomed with open arms and open doors, and sat down and
That's right.
and were able to discuss with them what we were experiencing, and they asked questions and provided us with solutions. And it was like, wow. And this has happened several times since we've been here in a year and a half, and so because of that, we love Conway. We have been they have taken such good care of us, and so we're hearing about this merger, and all of a sudden it's like I'm feeling of like, I'm having the rug pulled out from under me because I have no idea. Is Conway going to go away? Is it going to change? We don't know who this company is, what they're like, how they operate, and so it's all the stuff starts to come up. Is this a big uh-oh thing or what? Should we start looking? Yeah, is this, wondering, is this going to be a hostile takeover, or is it going to be something for the better? And we have no way of knowing. We have no one to talk to about it. we don't know who to talk to about it.
Of course, we're out here on the road.
Yeah,
too.
we're on the road. We can't just like go into Joplin and say, hey, what's going on, and what does this mean?
I-70 West.
So I thought I'm going to call Richard and talk to him because he drives for XPO.
Yeah.
And I left him a message on his voicemail,
Say a command.
and he called me right back. Well, he told me some very interesting stuff, which you didn't get to hear. Yeah. XPO used to be called Express One. I mean, before it was XPO, it was Express One was the name of the company.
Okay.
And it was run by this gentleman who was going into retirement, and he set up his son to take over the business. And for 2 years, his son completely ran that company into the ground, pissed off every single driver. They were losing drivers left and right, and they were hating life and leaving the company, and the son was basically destroying the company that his father had spent many, many years building up.
That's sad.
And then it got to a point where he decided he felt like he had to do something. So because he was a major shareholder, he went back in, he came out of retirement, fired his son,
Really?
fired all the upper management and all the board members, brought in all the people that he had worked with before that had gone into retirement,
Wow.
took over took control of the company once again. He started calling drivers, the dad, and got a bunch of drivers to come in, and he met with each of them individually, talked with them, asked them what was going on, what their experience was, what they wanted to see changed, what would fix this.
Yeah.
And Richard said that man did every one of the things that he was told by the drivers, and made apologies because there was a lot of people leaving, but he was talking to drivers, apologized to Richard personally, for everything that had gone wrong, and was telling him, making the promise he was going to make things better, asking him if he would just stay and give him a chance to prove this. And Richard did, and so did a lot of other drivers. He did the same thing with them, sat down with them individually, talked to them, and then basically put it all back together the way it was. And now it's been 3.5 years. 2 years he was with Express One, then for a while. Then his son took over. It was 2 years of hell. Then the dad came back and made everything right again, built the company back up again. He says that XPO is a very family-oriented business. It's a big company. It's not corporate. It's very family-oriented, family-centered, a lot of integrity, very lot of character, very
Sounds like it.
honorable and trustworthy. The way that they approach this industry, this trucking company, and how it's managed and operated.
Goodness.
So he says in any merger there's going to be bumps, because there's going to be change.
Yes. And change is always uncomfortable.
And it's most times for people, change is uncomfortable, and that's where you'll start to hear people complaining and moaning, and a lot of people leaving. But he said, I'll tell you, he told me two things. One is he knows fleet owners that were with XPO, and they decided the grass was greener somewhere else, quit XPO, didn't leave on good terms, went out and found out how shitty it was out there, and now they can't come back to XPO. and they just wish they had never left. That was one thing he said. Also says he knows several Conway owner-operators that left Conway. Again, when they left, it was not on good terms. And they say, and they can't go back to Conway because of how they left, and they say they wish they had never left Conway. So Conway is a smaller company,
Right.
much smaller than XPO,
Right.
but it's being taken over with what sounds like all of the same values that we have come to love about Conway. Those values exist in XPO.
Okay.
And so he sees it as, he said, Conway wouldn't let just anyone buy them.
I think that's probably true.
And so they did allow XPO to buy them. And so he says this will turn Conway into a much better place because XPO is so much larger, they have more resources, their technology that they already have in place is going to work its way into Conway. And they probably do some things differently, and that's, you know, and you'll start to see those changes. Yeah, and he said, but it just, you know, just stick in there because, and he said, and especially if you're, you know, still want to become an owner operator under XPO, you're going to have like the best of both worlds available to you with XPO. They really take care of you. And he told me, he gave me a couple of examples, and one of them was he was in South Carolina, and there was this load to Maine that nobody wanted to take because they thought they were going to get stuck in Maine. So
What would my being stuck in?
they told him, you don't want to be stuck anywhere when you're an owner operator,
Well, that's true.
you know.
That's true.
So they told him, if you take this load, we will get you a load out of there to Washington. And
Wow. Nice.
so he took the load, he got to Washington, went to Maine, went to Washington, and then he said it was in the time of year where it was like there was this, the cold was about to hit, and if he was still, and he was like stuck in Washington, and they knew he was stuck there. It was like for a couple of days or something.
Yeah.
And they were having a hard time getting him out of Washington, but they didn't want him to be there when everything froze up, because when that happened, he would really be stuck. You know, he wouldn't be able to drive out. It was up in the very north part of the state. So they said, we have this load that's in Los Angeles. So what we're going to do is we want you to deadhead. We're going to bid it so that we're going to bid it high to cover your deadhead miles from Washington down to LA. And that was to get him out of Washington ahead of that cold snap. And he said it had to do with the insurance on the load. They were able to, because of the kind of load it was, they were able to pad the insurance to cover his deadhead miles. Because with them, he was an expediter.
Yeah.
Sometimes you had to deadhead, you know,
Right.
a lot of miles from where you were to go to your next load, and they had to cover that as an expediter.
Okay.
So that came out of your pocket. But for this one, they went, you know, above and beyond to get him, not only get him out of Washington so he didn't get stuck there for a month, you know, or whatever it took to, or weeks or whatever, and got him out of there to LA. And the other thing he told me was he was in Laredo, and there was a problem with the load, and it got stuck at the border, and he was down there for
We've been there.
2 days waiting, and then they found out what the problem was, and it was going to be even longer for this load to come across, and his air conditioning went out
Oh, jeez. Not the place.
in Laredo in his peak of summer, in the peak heat down there. And he was like, it was a couple of days he was without an air conditioner. living in his truck, waiting on this load, and he was just like suffering. And he called them, and he said, not complaining or anything like that, or talking about problems, but trying to get some help to get him out of there. So because his air conditioner had broke, and they wanted to know what was going on, and he told them, I just don't have the money right now to put into it. He's a fleet owner, by the way. He had several trucks running, and he had people he was having to pay to run those trucks as well, and his he didn't have the money to put into his own truck right then. And so they told him, we don't want you to die in your truck in Laredo in that heat, so we want you to take it right now. They told him where to take it to, the shop in Laredo. Get that air conditioner repaired. We're going to pay for it, and we're going to put you in a hotel while you're waiting, and we're going to pay for that, and we're going to give you $200 for food so you can eat while you're waiting for the truck to get fixed. And then they worked it out where they told him that what we'll do is we'll take it out of your next couple of loads, and your settlement on your next couple of loads to pay it back, and it was interest free. So he got out of a really bad situation, got some help from the company to get his truck fixed. The load was the shipper had put down the wrong weight on the bills, and customs wouldn't let it through, so they put it to the side to this holding place, because then they have to stuff has to be done to get the load and the bills in sync, and that's what he was sitting waiting for, in 114 degree heat or whatever it was, with no AC in his truck. And so they helped him out, got his truck fixed. He was able to get back with air conditioning, and the load came through and he could go. But he said, and I feel like he's right. He said, how many companies would do that? You're an owner operator. A lot of companies will tell you
it's your problem.
It's your problem. It's your truck. It's your problem. I've heard a lot of drivers say that about the company they work for. And so that's just two things that he told me about XPO, how they have gone the extra mile to work with their drivers, to help them through difficult situations.
Very cool that you called him.
Yeah.
To talk to him.
And he knows a lot of people. He knows the owner and the executive management people, and but he said you're gonna love the company. It is such a good company. And see, he's not driving anymore. He says he has made enough money working for XPO that he could retire. He's 37. And he said, so I don't have to drive anymore. So he started a computer business, which is something that he loves and has wanted to do. And so he sold his fleet, and he's not driving. He said, so I have nothing. I have no ties with XPO. I'm not getting paid to tell you this.
Right.
He said, I have no ties with them. Yes, I left, but it was on good terms. And because if at some point in time I decide I want to go back on the road, he said, I can go back to XPO. He said, but I'll tell you what, there isn't any other company I would go to. If I'm going to go back on the road, there's only one company that would be with, and it's XPO.
Wow. That sounds like us in Conway.
Yeah. So,
Excellent.
he says, I have nothing to gain by telling you anything I have to tell you about XPO. I'm just telling you about my experience with the company. Because again, it's the doubts, the fears that come up.
Sure.
And it's like, oh God, oh no, we love Conway. We're new in this industry. We really don't want to go somewhere else and start over. We wouldn't know where to go or who to go to.
Right.
We don't want Conway to go away. He was saying that more than likely, all the same people that you're used to dealing with at Conway, they're not going anywhere. They're still going to be there. And he said at the end, listen, with anything in business, especially in business, but even, especially in life, It's what you put into it that you get back.
That's right.
He said, so if you have, a positive outlook and a positive view of this situation, this merger, that's what you'll get out of it. He said, if you're putting out negative and thinking negative and expecting negative, he said, that's what you'll get out of it.
Yes.
So
That's so true.
and that's the way it is in life.
In life.
Yep.
itself.
And I said, I hear you. I feel exactly the same way. And so he's in Louisville. Remember he told us about that place where he gets his organic meats?
Yes.
Well, that's in Louisville. So he said, you guys, he said, listen, I want to hear from you. Please stay in touch. I love staying in touch with people I've met out there on the road.
Yeah.
And
He is such a cool guy.
yeah, he is.
Such a cool guy.
And so he said, anytime you're coming through Louisville, give me a shout.
Nice.
He said, if you have time, maybe we can get together, and if not, just give me a shout. I told him we would. There's going to be, I think there's going to be a lot of good things. I'm really looking forward to it now.
Me too.
Yeah. I'm just very, very encouraged. And Richard, as a shout out to you, Richard, you are loved, brother. I appreciate you so much. And I told him, of all the people I could have had the opportunity to meet and talk to, I got to meet you, and that was a year ago. It was last summer. It was actually August last year when we were
That's right.
broke down in Port Wentworth, Georgia, and it was wonderful because you were so open and welcoming and invited us into your mobile palace and sat us down and just taught us so much about trucking and owner-operator business, and that was just the coolest thing. I mean, we were brand new, just getting started, and you were just right there, so open and helpful, and again today. So and even leaving the door open for to contact you anytime we have any questions or run into any kind of problems or anything, and
It's awesome.
being able to direct us on where to go to find solutions. So it's like, wow, what a blessing, you are, and we really appreciate you. So we love Conway, and I'm very encouraged hearing what I've heard from Richard about XPO Express, and I feel like Conway is only going to become even better because of the merger. And if there's anything you don't understand or have questions about what you've heard here on this video today, then
Free pass.
yay, let us know in the comments. Let us know. Way station's closed.
We don't certainly have all the answers.
Yeah, we don't, but we have resources,
Yes.
and so do you. So use them.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm very encouraged
Me too.
because we are definitely going to go owner-op. It's just a matter of time, getting all our ducks, in a row,
Getting our
and why not do it with a company that is like gonna be even better, a better than better company. And
X.
yep, PO.
Kind of a private joke there.
Yeah.
This trip today was just so beautiful. It's a different part of the country. Let's see. You are here. Right here. Here's Springfield, Decatur. Here's St. Louis. That's Missouri, of course. is Chicago. Actually, we're just came through Terre Haute, so we're just inside Illinois. In the past 3 days, we've gone from Laredo, Texas, up through, all through Texas, Arkansas, Tennessee, South Carolina, Virginia, Connecticut, New Jersey, New York, Massachusetts, up to New Hampshire, back down into New York, across Pennsylvania, then into Ohio, Indiana, and I probably missed something.